I'll just give about 10 seconds here for you all to do the activity. All right, so far there are about 7. Okay, let's see how many people can respond to this one. Degree of engagement. So you can see here, these are on the scale of 5. Participation, okay, it's still coming up, still coming out now, the result. 4.2 participation, 4.6 out of 5. In terms of emotion, how interesting, how exciting do you feel just now, how fun, and in terms of thinking level, how much really thinking that you have to do just now to answer the question just now, or to give a guess. Okay, can see here participation on average about 4.1, emotion about 4.6, and thinking about 3.6. Based on 13 response so far. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right. Keep it coming. Okay. Now let's do another activity. So everyone, look at this picture. Which class has more water? A, B, C, D. So just put in the chat box the answer, A or B or C or D. Okay, don't be afraid to get your answer wrong. Yeah, this is just a brain teaser. Okay, which glass in the picture has more water? Okay, we have B, 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 we have D, we have B, B, we have 1D. Okay, everyone, just take a wild guess, but please make sure that you you respond in the chat box. I can see a very interesting name here, Margono. Okay, keep it coming, the answer. Keep it coming. A, B, C, D. Margono from Indonesia. Oh, okay. That's a very unique name, easy to remember, Margono. Thank you very much for participating, Margono. Okay, do we have any more answers for this simple but interesting brain teaser? Okay, the same exercise. I want you to reflect now on this activity. In terms of participation, we have about 30 something in the WebEx now, and see how many responses that we have got so far. So what do you think in terms of participation? Is it high? Is it not so high, or very low participation? What about your own emotion? Do you think this is interesting? You get excited? You feel like, excited when you do this activity? What about the level of thinking in comparison to the first activity just now? Is it more? Is it less? Is it more or less the same? So for that, I want you to click the link in the chat box and do the same thing, exactly the same thing, just like just now, to rate out of 5 in terms of the 3 dimensions just now: participation, emotion. Emotion is about how do you feel about this activity? Do you feel excited? Do you feel that you're having fun? And also the thinking on the cognitive aspect. How much thinking compared to the first one, relative to the first one? How much thinking do you have? Do you have to think a bit more compared to the previous one? Okay. So let's see the answer. Okay, we got 9 people responded. So participation 4.6. The first one just now, we have what, 3.9. So apparently we have more participation here. Emotion 4.5. Just now, the first activity, we get emotion 4.3. This one, emotion 4.5. So I would say This one probably more interesting, perhaps. Cognitive 3.6, based on the 12 responses here. Cognitive 3.6, this one 3.4. So 3.4, 3.6. So apparently this activity, this brain teaser, probably requires you to think a little bit more. Think a little bit more, about 3.6. So thank you very much, everyone, for your participation in these two activities. I'm not done yet. All right, so let's look at, I will share the slide here. Just to confirm, Dr. Azina, can you see the slide?
Yes, we can see.
So the two activities that we have done just now is to illustrate what I believe, how I define student engagement. So student engagement in our course, whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face, has to be done by design. We cannot just by chance. So if we want to really get students to engage, then we have to design it. But what does engagement really means? We always use this term engagement, but what does it mean? So the way I define it based on what I've read from the research, there are three elements here that we need to consider every time when we talk about student engagement: behavioral engagement, emotional engagement, and cognitive engagement. Behavioral engagement is about how the students behave, how the students respond, their response, how responsive they are, how active and willing they are to participate. So you can see from their behavior, in the class, they move around, they raise their hand, they seem very eager, always very enthusiastic. So that's about behavior, which we can observe. So that is behavioral engagement. And if we see that, we can say that, okay, the students are engaged, but that's not good enough. The next one is about how do they feel about anything that we do, anything that they do, those activities that we design for them. How do they feel about it? Do they feel excited, which you can see from their face expression maybe? Do they feel so happy, having fun, so excited, so enthusiastic? They're having fun, they laugh, they make noise, talking to each other, and always, ever willing to work together, helping each other. So you can see that translated into the emotion. So that's the emotional engagement. When we get the behavioral engagement and emotional engagement, the third one we have to ensure in terms of real engagement is the cognitive part, which is at the end of the day, the bottom line is, okay, they are happy, they are active, they are, but do they learn or not? So this is where the cognitive engagement, we have to ensure that the activities that we design for them, and they are, they are doing all these activities that we have designed, we will engage them to make them to think. So that is where we can develop, nurture the critical thinking, the creative thinking, the divergent thinking, convergent thinking, all this thinking thingy, will happen. But of course, now we have to look also the cognitive level, whether it's, in the low level of Bloom taxonomy or the high level of Bloom taxonomy. So I guess these slides will summarize it very well. And I will give you access to this. The three interconnected dimensions of student engagement: the behavioral engagement, the action and behaviors learners take during learning, which may support or hinder learning. Easily recognizable by teachers, encompasses students' effort, their persistence, their participation, and compliance. Compliance means, when they say, okay, I'll give you 1 minute or 3 minutes to do this. Let's start. So they will start right away and they will comply and will perform the activity within the time given. So that's compliance. Okay, I want you to submit the assignment tomorrow, or you will submit, at given time. So they will do that. So that's compliance, meaning that they are behaviorally engaged. Then emotional engagement, which is also very important. The readiness to learn is very much related to how do they feel, whether they are willing or not emotionally. So that's related to the affective dimension of Bloom taxonomy, also called relational. Affective dimension of learning, students' emotional responses to learning, students' feeling of interest, happiness, anxiety. So anxiety will result in the disconnection or detachment. They will become disengaged. Anger, sometimes they get angry with the lecturer, so they will not show that they are, they want to get involved. Engage in discussion, pose questions, seek help when needed, exhibit curiosity. When they are doing all this, meaning that now they are showing the signs of emotional engagement. And finally, cognitive, because whatever we do, whatever they do, based on what we have designed our this lesson plan, they must be cognitively engaged. This is where the real, the real deep learning will take place. So when they are engaged cognitively, they will take the initiative. They are highly motivated now to be self-directed, self-regulated. They will do the planning, monitoring their own progress, setting goals, solving problems, and seek challenge. You tell them when they are highly engaged, behaviorally, emotionally engaged, and cognitively engaged, they will be kind of become a self-directed learners, self-regulated. So if you ask them to do one thing, they will do 10 things. So, they will have a lot of initiative because they are highly motivated, they are highly engaged. So this is just another slide to give more points on these 3 interconnected dimensions of student engagement, which is behavioral. Behavioral is related to the quality and the degree of participation and the quality of participation. Emotional or relational is more on the quality of the interaction, and cognitive is about the quality of student psychological engagement in the activity that we have designed for them, and they are investing their effort to put their thinking cap, to do a lot of thinking to solve the problem, complex problem, individually or in a group. So with that, I want to share with you a module. I'll give you a link now. This is a very, very comprehensive module on engaging learners in synchronous and asynchronous online session. And you'll find on the left-hand side, I have 15 learning activities, which mostly are on the high level of cognitive engagement, C4 and above, which we can adopt and adapt in your classroom. So to end my part, I will just share the link to this module. Feel free to use it and share with others. So with that, we'll stop for now. I'll pass over to Dr. Azlina. Thank you very much.
Interaction in online courses, more is not always better. While we are very eager to learn or to use many technological tools,